what does the current generation of DBMS offer us? We can store data structures, relationships between structures and access paths in these database management systems. Also, they define, store, and manage all access paths and components. So with that in mind, this means that this database management system can be able to define your data for you. Welcome back, it's Planet 9, and today we're about to discuss database systems, which is a very crucial aspect in today's world that is forever changing and is forever evolving. So you see, in this world, data is often a term that is being used to categorize information such as people's names, people's surnames, people's passwords, bank account details, all those things that we use on a daily basis. So you understanding this topic better will make you understand how the world works better. So stick around till the end of the video because it's about to be a very lucrative video. It's not your typical type of video you found on YouTube. This is the special kind because it's created by the special one. So let's get started with our video. This is database systems, and right now I'm about to show you all how database systems is defined, like telling you all, for one, what is database systems. Alright, so what are database systems? Database system represents logically related data which is stored in a single logical data repository. So basically they represent data that is stored in a logical manner, data is stored in a manner that you can read and you can make out what it says, and it's all stored in one single bundle of a repository or one big box. So examples of this include MySQL, Oracle database, Apache, Cassandra, and many more other databases. So these are just like the frameworks you can use to create and host your database from. So database systems are also known as physically distributed among multiple storage facilities, meaning that you can have databases that are physically distributed towards one end of a site and another database that is distributed towards another site or another end of a site. So DBMS eliminates most of file system problems. The problems they're talking about here is the limited data sharing, the limited data security, the limited data access that typically comes with file system programs. This is why database systems were introduced, so that we can have more data integration, that we can have more data sharing, that we can have more overall better decision making due to us being able to fully utilize the data in front of us. This is why it was created. So these are the definitions you could give to a database system. So we're going to move on to the advantages and disadvantages of a database system. Alright then, so we're on the topic of now, what does the current generation of DBMS offer us? We can store data structures, relationships between structures and access paths in these database management systems. Also, they define, store, and manage all access paths and components. So with that in mind, this means that this database management system can be able to define your data for you, store your data for you, and be able to manage the access paths and the components that govern the data, making them the ultimate data generating machine. So we're gonna move on now to the next aspect. Alright, and now we are at the advantages of database systems. So the first advantage you get from this is better data integration and less data inconsistency. Keep in mind, database systems are like DBMSs, so Basically anything like MySQL, Oracle, shit like that. I explained it before in the video. So what else you get? You get data inconsistency. Data inconsistency is an advantage here, which it's an advantage you get because you no longer have that data inconsistency, which is different versions of the same data. Mentioned again, better data integration and less data inconsistency. So what else you get? You get increases in end user productivity, which is always a bonus in any business that wants to make really substantial amounts of profit. So what else you get? You get improved data sharing, data security, data access, and decision making. Because if you have a business that is making well over 3 million in about 10 over revenue, you would want your data to be secure. You would want your data to be shared though among your employees and your stakeholders and yourself. And also you would want to have data access that in a manner that is easy and not so time consuming. So we're gonna move on now to the disadvantages. We have dealt with the advantages of database systems. It's time we deal with the disadvantages of database systems. So you see, the first disadvantage you're going to have is that you're going to have increased cost throughout your business because you're going to need the information communication technology infrastructure to implement in order for you to be able to use the database system features that your database might provide. So what else you got? You got management complexity. So you gotta train your staff to be able to use to be able to use the new system you're implementing on your company. So there is that aspect as well. And also you have maintaining accuracy. That is another disadvantage. Yet you have to actually now maintain your documents, the software, on your software and on your hardware, because everything must match. When the auditor is looking at your software and is also looking at your hardware or your hard copies, it must be the same, and the fact that everything must be accurate. Another thing is that this thing is vendor dependent, meaning that a certain database can work for a certain vendor and not work for another vendor. So this entail gives us a more complexity mindset, meaning that every single vendor must have their own database specifically tailored for them. Another thing is frequent upgrades. Like the iPhone, you gotta upgrade your database systems pretty frequently. So those are the 5 disadvantages of database systems. I'm gonna show you all these disadvantages and advantages in one page so you can all see. This is the page. So for database systems, the advantages are better data integration with less data inconsistency. You get increases in the end user productivity lane, also improved data sharing, data security, data access, and decision making. So basically you get the full package of data, information, knowledge, and then decision making. The disadvantages, most one that I think is gonna be the issue, is money. This is why small scale companies do not usually integrate their information. It is usually done by those large scale companies that have so many branches that they now have to keep things digitalized so that they can be able to keep track of what's going on and what is the status and what is the trend for like current things. So the other things you might look at is the maintaining of accuracy and the management complexity. Those are other disadvantages that might be really tough for small business to accomplish or to work towards. Another one is vendor dependence. Vendor dependence means that they have to tailor everything to a certain company, meaning that if it's tailored to a certain company, then the method one company uses may not be as effective in another company. Also, another thing is that frequent upgrades means that every now and then you're going to have to upgrade your system to be better, more adventurous, more modern, and overall more able to handle current data and past data and future data. So that kind of brings me to the end of this video. I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.